damn, it's like the girl lied about this whole shit, and it's fucked up because the fact that they try to give him a plea bargain of 35 years. That's a plea bargain of 35 years.
I have previously testified in this case, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm recalling you as a witness in the defense case against you. And I wanted to go back and review some of the statements that you made to law enforcement.
Okay.
Now, the very first time after March 24th, 2022, that you reported the revenge, did you go down and do a warrant application at the DeKalb County Magistrate Court?
Yeah, I went to the police department and I stayed in front of them, and I did a police report with a cop.
Okay. All right. So you didn't go to magistrate court. You went and spoke to to Officer Hugh.
Yes.
Okay. And so you told him that revenge had been posted online.
Yes.
And you made a report with him.
Yes.
Okay. And that was on March the 30th of 2022. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. At that time, you didn't say anything about a sexual assault or anything about rape. That's correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And your interview or your meeting with that officer was a recorded meeting, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And that was within 5 days of the time that you had left the house, correct?
More or less. More. I
Okay.
believe, yes.
So March 25th is when you left the house, the morning of March 25th?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. All right. Now, while I'm on that, you had text messages that were in your phone that were sent from your phone to Kelly Johnson. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And were the messages provided to law enforcement from you? Did they get them from your phone?
I believe I asked Kelly for the screenshots, and I believe I sent them to someone. I'm not sure who.
Okay.
I believe I sent them to someone. I can't remember. I apologize.
Okay. All right. So after you were questioned and reported to the officer on March the 30th, after that, the next time that you made a statement about this case was an interview that you did online with a YouTuber called The T, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall your interview with The T?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Were you truthful in your interview with The T?
I would say I was truthful to my best abilities. I just came from out the cult, so I still had an influence on me. Yes.
All right. Okay. So when you were interviewed by The T, do you recall discussing with The T why you had left Carbonation?
I don't recall what I said, but I do know why I left.
Okay. All right. If I asked you, read you a statement that you made from your interview with The T, would you tell me if you disagree or agree with that statement?
Yes, to my best abilities.
Okay. In your interview with The T, do you remember what date you did that interview?
No.
Okay. Now, are you aware that The T is the same group of people that sent those text messages to the detective in this case?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Did you provide the text messages to The T?
Excuse me?
Did you provide text messages to The T?
Me and her text all the time, yes.
Okay, but did you provide the text messages with you and Kelly Johnson to The T?
I may have.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to read you, this is a transcript of your statements from YouTube. I left Carbonation because basically he didn't hit me, but I was hit by Zoku, Eferu, and Shiva did push me and nudge me and was getting up in my face, as well as the reason why this happened is because they feel as if I was being disrespectful to him by giving him a face. Does that sound like something you said?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Now, in your interview, further, you talk more about, what you said that happens. And did you call Mr. Bishop something along the lines of Babaji? I'm not exactly sure how to spell that, but do you know how to spell that? How do you spell that?
B-A-B-A-J-I.
B-A-B-A-J-I. Okay. And so was there a girl in the group named Malia?
Yes.
Was Malia considered to be the queen?
Yes.
Were you frustrated by Malia being the queen?
No.
Okay. I'm going to read you, again, you tell me if you disagree with this, taken from your interview.
Can I explain my answer?
Yeah, if I can read it first, and you tell me.
Yeah, let him read the question, then you answer the question, and then you can explain your answer.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. Use Natiri as a servant, and come tomorrow. She's gonna be the servant, and this and that. And I'm just like, wow, like really. And one of the reasons why I left is because y'all don't know when he was trying to do the queen thing. There wasn't going to be a new queen. It was all an act. At first, it wasn't. I'm thinking that I'm actually have a chance to like prove that. Okay, well, I can definitely, take the queen to the queen thing and really do something positive with the cup. But nah, he was like, it was never going to be that way. He said that it's going to be primarily a queen. She's going to remain the queen. And so. And I'm going to skip forward. I'm going to be her servant. I'm going to be her servant. I'm going to kiss her feet in front of the whole world. Did you have an issue with her being the queen and you not being the queen?
I had an issue with the dynamic in the triangulation. Excuse me if I'm not saying that right, but triangulation that EILGIO Bishop was doing with the women in the cult. Okay. I decided that after he himself, EILGIO Bishop, was telling me behind closed doors that I might be the queen. Are you really the queen of Father Nation, Natiri? Can you do this job? Are you meant for this job? And he's had countless encounters in front of everyone saying that I was qualified and I was more of a goddess than the other women. I thought I could take the queen role and do something positive with our culture that we was creating in the group. I didn't like how he put the women against each other and made them jealous of me, because he would always tell the women that he liked to be better than the other ones. I thought I could change the dynamic of the queen, because he, like I said, he never hit me. But I thought I could change it. It was a lot of abuse, yes, mental and emotional abuse. But
he never hit you though.
No, and I thought that I can change that dynamic. So I wanted to become the queen so I can make a change like I was naturally doing in the cult.
Okay. So being that he never hit you, how long were you in the group?
I was on and off in the group for 3 years.
Okay.
And when it came down to EILGIO Bishop, though he's never hit me physically, the mental and emotional abuse and the spiritual abuse was always present.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to skip through this section, but essentially you talk about the girls and you are having a dispute. So do you agree that night that the girls and you, the girls were basically being physical with you?
Yes, they were physical on EILGIO Bishop's orders.
Okay.
And
well, I'm going to get to that, but go ahead, you finish your answer.
Yes, also I wanted to tell you before when you said I'm going to kiss her feet,
Mm-hmm.
he told the world he told the cult that I was going to kiss her feet. I never said to my mouth that I wanted to kiss her feet. He was ordering me to kiss her feet the next day. He said that I was going to kiss her feet in front of the whole world and become slave to Carnation.
Okay, and you wanted to be the queen. You didn't want to be in that position.
She didn't want to be no slave.
I necessarily was just trying to take the role so I can become something positive in the group. The queen position was something used for power and control when it comes down to the women and to make them jealous of each other and compete against one another. I just wanted to take the role because I wanted to make a change within my culture.
Okay. All right. Do you disagree with the following statement you made? Baba G, that's EILGIO, comes in and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I told him no. And he was like, you know what, you can just go pack your stuff because you can just make it clean and simple. Make it, just make it, you know, basically he's saying that don't make a fuss about it, just pack it and just get out. And so you at that point when you got your suitcases and you were about to leave, right?
No, I didn't go get my suitcases. One of the men fetched my suitcases.
Okay, and then the next statement you said,
Your Honor, I would have to object at this point. These are not statements, they're prior statements, and they are not statements in contradiction to what she testified to the first time. If they were, then it would be proper under Rule 413, but instead we're just rehashing an out-of-court statement. Hearsay.
So to agree, Mr. Booker?
Okay.
All right, sustain the objection, let's move on.
Okay. Do you recall that during the interview that you indicated that you went upstairs and that you were just crying in his arms?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, same objection. That was testified to on direct.
I can just play the interview into the record then, Judge. I mean, that's what the state wants.
The interview is not admissible.
No, we can't. I sustain the objection, move forward.
Well, she hasn't been asked the question. This is not questions that she's been asked before. So it wouldn't be something that would be a prior consistent or inconsistent statement. She's not been asked these particular questions before regarding the specifics of what happened when she was there.
Response?
Unfortunately, I think this is another matter we have to take up outside of the
All right.
All right.
Sorry, guys. Send back.
I guess as long as it's not part of it.
I think it's okay. All right.
The state's position is that unless it is so in the prior interview, if she said something that was contradicted in court, then it is a prior statement that can come in under 413 as a prior inconsistent statement. The subsection that deals with prior consistent statements would not apply to any of this because Mr. Booker is not attempting to restore the witness's credibility. So prior consistent statements are inapplicable. Prior inconsistent statements are only applicable in as much as they are actually inconsistent with what the witness has testified to, in which case the statement is not, the question is not, do you agree with this statement that you made? It's, do you remember making this statement? And at that point, she can either say yes, no, or explain the statement.
Here's the rule.
Yeah, I'll rephrase it based on that.
Okay. I mean, the rule is, an out-of-court statement shall not be hearsay if the declarant testifies at the trial or hearing, is subject to cross concerning the statement, and the statement is admissible as a prior inconsistent statement or a prior consistent statement. It has to be one or the other. Do you agree with that?
Yes, and then prior inconsistent statement and prior consistent statement are defined further in Rule 413. Because not every statement that is consistent with a witness's testimony is admissible. It's only admissible under certain circumstances.
So I'll ask her if she recalls.
Use your mic for me, please.
I'm sorry. I'll ask her if she recalls making the statement, and then we can give her an opportunity to. The questions that I'm asking her were not questions. I never asked her about the interview. It was not anything that was asked on when during her examination. So this is all brand new questions.
So what are you trying to get at?
I'm getting that she did a interview that was different than the statement that she made before. That would be an inconsistent statement.
I would just ask that we address these specific questions based on how this has gone previously, where we have not been on the same page at all about what constitutes a prior inconsistent statement.
All right, let's go ahead and ask the questions now, Mr. Booker, and get the witness's answer and any objection, so we don't have to keep sending the jurors in.
It would be my preference, Judge, if we don't. Could we do without the juror being present? Because I mean, what's the point of asking?
Well, then you can ask it again when the jury comes in if it's not objectionable. But the problem is there's an objection.
The witness.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can set that. That's fine.
Okay.
So I can proffer the questions that I would intend to ask the court. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
All right.
Go ahead.
She states in the interview, Judge, that she doesn't know what happened in that moment. She was really vulnerable. that we did make love in that moment. I didn't want to resist him. I didn't want to, because any of that, because it was just like I was going to resist him. The Uber's already left, but I just felt stupid, and I decided to make love to him. And that wasn't what she ultimately said to it. I think that's a very big point in this case, is whether or not she decided to make love to him or not.
Wouldn't that be a prior inconsistent statement, Mr. Cody?
Most of that, yes. But that was not what we were dancing all around that. But
Okay.
yes, that specific.
So I will jump right to the point instead of going.
Cameraman, you got one job.
Are there any others, or is that essentially what you're trying to do?
Judge, there is a bit more to it. Additionally, she indicates in the interview that she felt stupid afterwards, that she had given in, that, I'm going to use a word that would be offensive to most people, but I want to say it, that she was about having dick rather than love. I think that that's a valid question that the jury gets to determine. She doesn't mention anything about being forced. So instead of me going through reading the transcript verbatim, piece by piece, what I can do is just question her out of it and ask if she recalls making that statement or not. And if she disagrees, then I will read it into the record.
And if she agrees, you
and if
move
she
on.
agrees, I'll move on.
With those two questions,
I do believe those constitute prior inconsistent statements, so I think those are fine. Your client is trying to get your attention, Mr. Booker. Hold on, Mr. Bishop.
Additionally, Judge, she indicated that she felt the lovemaking was fake, but it made her feel sad as a result of that. I think that would be a question that I could be able to answer as well, because again, she addresses lovemaking.
Mr. Kennedy?
the fact that she had.
The camera need to be on him at all times.
On direct of her first testimony, the fact that she has used the phrase lovemaking, that was addressed already.
Put it back on Nature Boy.
An inconsistent statement with her trial testimony. In fact, it would be consistent.
Yeah, but the fact that she felt he was faking it during the lovemaking, she never mentioned that.
I don't recall that being asked by counsel on cross the first time around.
It wasn't.
Okay.
All right. If you want to ask those three questions,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yes,
fine. I think that's fine.
Okay.
And then can we move on from there? Or are there more?
There's an additional question I would ask.
All right,
That's not from the T interview.
Okay.
Does it address a prior statement made by the witness?
No, it was a subsequent statement she made that the DA's office interviewed her, and she indicated that they could have sex just one last time, and she said okay to that.
That's exactly what she testified to on direct.
Well, I think we disagree. That's your opinion of what she testified to on the record. I think I have an opportunity, because I have a legal obligation to represent this defendant, to ask her to be cleared in front of the jury. That's their opinion. That's exactly what she said on the record. I don't agree with that.
I remember her saying she was convinced, I think, to do it.
Well, I guess if the state wants to go that route, then maybe they should, in their closing argument, they should argue that she said it was okay to have sex together. That's the contention. I don't think that's what they're going to argue in closing arguments. If I'm going to be, I think I would be able to ask that question, Judge. They provided
She
this
told the DA's office
in an interview with them, prepare for trial.
I mean, look, it's no secret that she didn't report it right away, and she's given conflicting statements, right?
So,
Yes, sir.
if I may,
Okay.
just one thing. You talk about, well, in my opening statement, where I laid out what I expected the evidence to show, he asked one last time, and finally, after countless times of saying no, realizing she wasn't leaving that room unless she gave in, she said okay. So I've addressed it in opening. It's what she testified to. I'm not saying it's the most prejudicial thing in the world. I'm saying it's inadmissible because it's not inconsistent with what.
That's your opening statement. The jury doesn't get to consider your opening statement. They get to consider that testimony of this witness.
Correct. All right, so we have this statement to the DA's office, and those other three questions that you want to ask.
Yes, sir.
And that's it.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to define my question in advance now, so that way when I ask it. So, number one, that she felt like she was vulnerable at that time, and so therefore they had sex and she didn't resist. Is that a fair question? Is the state okay with that?
And this is what she told T.
This is what she told the T.
If it's, I think that's appropriate.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Additionally, that she felt that the defendant was faking it during the lovemaking, and she felt that he wasn't being genuine and true as a result.
As long as these are couched, or do you recall making this statement, not do you believe this statement, or do you have anything?
All right. And that what she really needed at that time was dick, but what she really wanted was real, true love.
I don't think that's been addressed one way or the other, so I will defer to the court.
Okay. I think it's been addressed, or you do not think it's been
It
addressed?
has not.
I don't remember her saying that.
Yeah.
No, we would remember her saying that.
I did not remember her. She did not say that. So, so I'm going to say no to that question, because that's not a prior consistent statement.
It would be a prior inconsistent statement.
How is it inconsistent? What is it inconsistent with? The rape?
Yes, it's inconsistent with the rape that she needed to have sex with him and did not.
I think it's relevant.
Mr. Kennedy, what was your response to that?
I think he said he was okay with it, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't see how it can be inconsistent based on like the absence of testimony. I mean, it's not consistent or inconsistent. It's just not something that came up in her testimony.
But it's a statement that she made.
Could she be asked if she recalls that statement? If she doesn't recall it, then we'll leave it be.
I'll just defer to the court on that. I don't know.
Okay. All right, I'll allow it.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, it sounds relevant.
All right, what else?
The Brady statement, Judge, which I think the state is agreeable to, and that would be the 4 questions I would have about that. So I wouldn't ask any more questions about that particular issue.
Brady statement is the one statement that we are objecting to because we believe that it has already been testified to, but I think the court already resolved that.
Hey yo, if you enjoy this content, please support the channel at. And oh yeah, don't forget to follow me on all my social media platforms, especially Rumble, because I can put content on there that I can't put on YouTube. So please support that. I will put my beacon link in the description box. That way you can follow me on all social media, Discord, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. You can follow me wherever. Please support the movement. CV Killer forever.